What's up, y'all? I'm here after that abysmal performance. Warning for all the headphone users because I'm not very happy right now. And so I'm going to go here, get myself a little therapy and just ramble what I'm thinking, man, because that was disgusting. That was disgusting. And what's worse is that it's what we've seen for 18 weeks. It's what we've seen since the Dallas Cowboys game on September the 4th. You just see it over and over. And everybody was like, oh, it's going to get fixed. It's not going to get fixed. All right? Because it didn't get fixed the whole season. Week 1, we score all of our points in the first half and one field goal in the second half. Week 17, we score all of our points in the first half. What did you think was going to happen here? We were going to fall apart in the second half the way that we have all year because our team just doesn't know what... Yes, I'm putting all the blame on Nick and Kevin Patullo. I don't want to hear it, all right? I understand I might be a little delusional about my quarterback. That makes sense to me. My defense, this defense is unbelievable. Shout out the defense. You need to keep every single piece you can. That includes Nakobe Dean, and that includes Blankenship. I know Blankenship didn't have the best of games, but that does include Blankenship. And I say you got to extend Jordan Davis. I think Jalen Carter can wait a year. I think you got to extend Davis. It maybe even Adoree Jackson. I still would look somewhere. But Adoree Jackson hasn't been that bad this last little bit of the season. It just you see it every game, and we start off the game and we allow the touchdown. But this is about the offense. This video is about the offense because the offense is what lost us this game, and it's what's lost us almost every game this season. Yeah, I'd say it's lost us every game this season. The team comes out and they go right down the field. It was beautiful. You watched good football. You watched the long Barkley run. Hurts was completing passes. AJ was getting the ball. And then we had the jet sweep touchdown to Goddard. That was cool. And you run another cool play to Dallas Goddard early in the football game because that's what it seems like you've been doing all year. You have those good plays. We see them in game 1 of the season. I'm going to go back to game 1 of the season to show that nothing has improved. We see them on the first drive, and they fake the toss here, and they get Dallas Goddard wide open here, and they fake a toss from under, or they fake a counter this way and throw a toss this way and it gets 20 yards. They have these plays, and I don't know who designs these plays. It's clearly one of them designs these plays between Nick and KP, and I'm not saying like one of them's great and one of them's the problem. I think that they're both a bit of the problem. But whoever's designing these plays, and they just use them early on. We look at the Bucs game in week 4. They use the cool Goddard, like he's right here and he just whips it over here, and the shovels. We all see that, and it's all early in the football game, and that's what you do. And then you go out, and you're stagnant, and you get the ball back. You do have the one touchdown that was a good drive, again. In the rest of the game, you're stagnant. You had 2 touchdowns. You had 2 field goals with the ball in plus territory. All right, these were not good drives. The best drive of the game you had was the one with 2 minutes left. And so there was no reason to think that this team was going to go win the football game. They did better than I expected. I thought they were just going to fail on the 4th and 5. I thought they were going to run the ball on the 4th and 5. No, in this team. But you see the same problems, and they've continued from September. And everybody, in September it was growing pains. In October it was, KP's not great, but the Eagles are going to be able to fight through it. They're going to get back on track. In November we were winning games because of defense, and we kind of went away from it until we started losing games. Then we really got on it. But it's the same stuff. It's the same stuff. And it's all to one. All the cool plays are to one player. It's all to Dallas Goddard. They were without Dallas Goddard for the Chiefs game. That was the worst offensive play calling game I've ever seen back in week 2. And this is a review of the whole season because our season's over. All right, there's no future to talk about that this game matters. All right, this game matters for free agency. That's it. And Quinyon played well. That's the only thing I'm taking away from this game in a positive manner. It was bad. And it's just stagnant. It's the way it's been all year. And is it the quarterback's fault? Possibly. I don't see, unless if they just have no confidence in Jalen Hurts, I see Jalen Hurts drop back and just stare at a guy and throw it to him. And that's not what Jalen Hurts was the first 4 years of his career. Even if it would take a sec, it feels like he has one option. And on some of these plays, he literally has one option. There are literally plays where nobody will do a thing except for one go ball and they throw it to him. So it's not all Jalen Hurts. But at the same, when it's 3rd and 15, you think Jalen Hurts is just, and then throws a hitch route? I know my quarterback's not that stupid. He won a Super Bowl. It's stupid. And again, and it's the whole year that we've been talking about this third down play calling and this prevent offense. That's what I call it. And it's what you go in the second half, and it's stagnant because you don't want to turn the ball over. And they haven't turned the ball over in the prevent offense, I think. Yeah, no, they haven't turned the ball over in the prevent offense. That doesn't mean it's a good offense. That means it's stupid. It's stupid. It's been stupid. It doesn't work. All right? If you call prevent defense, you prevent yourself from winning the football game. You call prevent offense, you prevent yourself from winning the football game. Shout out a bunch of Madden YouTubers that told me that one time. Just the entire year, it's been like this. And in the third game of the season, when we're down 19-7 to the Rams, and we run the ball on 3rd and 15 to end the half with Will Shipley, and I turned the game off. And what did we do? We came back and won because we woke up. We were down 19-7, and we were in the prevent offense. I thought the prevent offense were when you had the lead. You were chewing the clock. That's what it was in the past, and even if we didn't like it, you would run the ball, and you'd run it more effectively than you did this year. And I'll get to the offensive line in a second. It's just the prevent. It's so weird saying the prevent offense. It's such a stupid thing. It's 3rd down, and we're just going to get some space for our guy to punt. It's stupid. And you hear him in the press conferences. He's stupid. Oh, well, sometimes we just run the ball to run the ball. What does that mean? You're supposed to call a play because you want to call a play. If you don't want to call a play, if you don't have intention in calling a play, we'll find someone who does. And that's Jalen Hurts. Just have Jalen call the plays. Because a lot of the plays in the first half were Jalen audibles. And then, we know what play we're going to run when we get to the line. And sometimes we'll check out of it because it doesn't seem that it'll work. Shut up. You sound like a second grader trying to explain football to people. If the offense doesn't like what they're doing, they can ask me. I have good talks with Jalen sometimes. No, you don't. Jalen doesn't like you. You can tell on the sideline. You can tell in Hard Knocks when they were like, okay, well, what are we going to do to fix with this offense? Like, you need to fix this. Whatever happened, he was not happy with this offense and with what KP is doing with him. And you can't blame him because we saw the same thing 2 years ago. But 2 years ago, it was better than this. With Brian Johnson, it was better than this. This is still why I want to blame it so much on Nick. Because Brian Johnson came from Florida. He was cool at Florida. You saw, that was the year that it was COVID year, and Kyle Trask was a Heisman candidate, and Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney were getting the ball, and he comes to the Eagles as a QB coach. He developed our quarterback really well. He developed our quarterback from here to here. And ever since then, he's been here, and now he's probably about, here. It's not... It's just not good. And then he goes and becomes the offensive coordinator, and you still see better stuff than you see right now. They weren't running the ball on 3rd and 12. They were at least trying stuff, and still Nick would come in on the bad parts and say, oh, it's his offense. It probably was his offense. It probably wasn't just a cover-up for his stupid offensive coordinator. Maybe he wasn't stupid. And there were some really cool plays, and some plays that really worked, and some different concepts. And A.J. Brown had 1,000 yards 9 games into the season. And Devontae Smith had 1,000 yards on the season. And the quarterback was an MVP frontrunner until the collapse. Whether it was because he was 10-1 or because he was playing good football, which he really was, and you had a 1,000-yard rusher. You barely had that this year with Saquon Barkley. You had it with DeAndre Swift, who loved DeAndre Swift, not Saquon Barkley. And the offensive line obviously played a lot better that year than they did this year. Maybe it wasn't that bad on offensive 23. I know if this offense had the Fangio defense, maybe they still lose because I don't think the Fangio defense is allowing less than 9 points in a playoff game, which they scored. But I don't think that they're losing to the Seahawks. I don't think that they're losing to the Cardinals. And then after that, it's a much different conversation. It's just mind-boggling. And so that's why I want to blame it on Nick. Is you see the same stuff from 23 and 25. And when you get a real experienced offensive coordinator in 24, and Nick said at the beginning of the year, he's running the show. And slowly we heard as they kept losing games, like, oh, Nick's getting a little into this. Oh, now Nick's into defensive game planning and all this stuff. And it probably was true. It was probably not him just protecting his coordinators and taking the blame because he knew he wasn't going to get fired. It was probably true that he was getting into this stuff. And then we stopped hearing that stuff when they started winning football games and their offense looked really efficient. Jalen Hurts led the league in turnovers the first few games of that season. He had no turnovers the rest of the way through. And I know that it's kind of ironic, I guess, because this year Jalen Hurts has no turnovers and we're mad at that, and we kind of want him to be a little more aggressive with the football, but he was too aggressive, and then and we had a great season in 24, and now in 25, we're back, and we suck. But it's for different reasons now, but we're seeing the same little Nick Sirianni issues with not getting the people the ball, except instead of the defense being as bad as they were in 23, they are good now, and that's what got us. Still, we only had one more win than we did last year. We had the same record as we did. We did the same exact thing. It wasn't a historic collapse. We did the same exact record as we did in 23. It's just so done, and he's a moron, and we'd see it week after week. In 24, it was okay. He started the year. He had some really bad calls against the Saints, I remember. He had some bad Sirianni had some bad decisions against the Saints, some bad decisions against the Jags. It was bad, but you could work through it, and the team had so much talent. This year, you're just seeing bad decision after bad decision, and you're seeing in this game, with the game on the line, there's 48 seconds. Let's say there's 48 seconds left. And he uses, before the 4th and 11, with the clock stopped, he uses a timeout. If you don't convert the 4th down, then the other team has to run and try to get a first down because you can call all 3 of the timeouts and you can get the ball back. Sure, they're probably 30 seconds and you have no timeouts. Yes, that's why I might have kicked the field goal down 23. It would have been a really tough decision for me to trot out a kicker that's been somewhat missing kicks and tell him to go kick a field goal. But I might have trotted out Jake Elliott and then tried to get 3 stops on defense. It obviously would have worked better than that. But instead you call a timeout, and then when the Niners get the ball back and there's 39 seconds left, and you're just wasting our time, and they take a knee, and you call the timeouts. You call it because they're going to botch the snap. That's the only thing that could possibly happen is they botch the snap. It's unbelievable. You're just watching. He's just an idiot. And he keeps making idiotic decisions. And what does he do? He was brought in as an offensive mind, yet the year it seemed like he had the least control was the year with Kellen Moore the last few years since Shane Steichen left. And Shane Steichen was beautiful and amazing. And I love Shane Steichen. And he needs to be fired and so we can get him back. And you watch, the best year was the year when Nick wasn't in it. What did Nick do as an offensive coach? And the answer is nothing. He got hired, and we heard about all this stuff of, he's great in the locker room. I remember he was late to a press conference because he was shooting, he was playing a game of basketball with Greg Ward. It's nothing about the the scheme. It's nothing about the ins and outs. It was about the person, Nick Sirianni. Oh, the people love him, and he's energetic, and he'll get you riled up, and all that. All that's great until it's time to go and play football. You can only get so riled up before your idiotic decisions get in the way. And at the same time, it feels like with a guy like that, he wouldn't be the most conservative coach in football. And that's what he is. In the week before, he decides to not play his starters. But in 2024, you didn't want to play Saquon to get the record, but you wanted to play Devontae Smith to go and get 1,000 yards because 1,000 yards is so valuable with no incentive in his contract and no lifelong record. Like, I don't know, the most rushing yards in a single season in NFL history. That would be pretty cool to break it against your former team, too. Now, maybe they would have been out there trying to twist ankles, but the Commies were probably trying to go out there and twist ankles, too. They were also at the playoffs. They had an issue with Tyler Steen 2 weeks ago. Like, and then he goes in the postgame, and he's like, oh, we just trying to get Smitty out there to go and get his yards. And we can, with receivers, it's a little easier to scheme the ball and not make him get hit. Yet I see him catch a dirty post route with two defenders in between them. It's good that he didn't get hurt on that play, because then it would have been there would have been an outcry. It was stupid, and you keep seeing him be stupid. And yet when you're down 7 and there's 2 minutes left, even if don't put the starters back in, they're not warmed up, somebody pulls a hammy, even though they're active, they're dressed, they better have warmed up with the team like normal civilians would do. You don't want to, twist an ankle and stuff. But put Smitty back in. And you didn't need to have the starters in to win that game. It's not like you weren't playing 40-year-old Josh Johnson. You just needed, 1, your DBs not to be complete idiots, and 2, your offensive coordinator not to be a complete idiot. And before I hear about McKee, the exact same thing happened with McKee that happened with Jalen Hurts, except for he did worse in the situation against a worse defense. Like, it's a backup quarterback. Like, that's what you expect. I don't think that McKee is better than Hurts. I don't think that McKee is a bad backup quarterback. But the same things that happened with Hurts, they happen with McKee, and that's why you have to blame it on the coaching, because we see McKee in preseason when you're not running the stuff that you normally run, and you're not trying to show off your looks, and he throws for 250 and a half against some starters, like a good amount of starters on the Bengals defense. That means just run that stuff. It's in the back pocket, even if you haven't really practiced. Just run that stuff. And if only McKee can run it, put McKee in there. I don't care. And then the regular season comes round, and the one game he's in, he looks like crap. This guy had 2 passing touchdowns and 4 pass attempts in his first game, and then threw for 268 with 4th stringers on his team to be a starting NFL roster in the New York Giants with what receivers were in there? Maybe Dotson was in there with Britton Covey and Paris Campbell and Johnny Wilson. It was disgusting is the point. So Patullo stinks overall. I know this video has no rhyme, no reason, no direction. I just have to get it out. I just have to get all this out of my system. But it's time to talk about the next thing, and that's the offensive line. Because the offensive line has been what this team has lived off of. They won us the first Super Bowl. We were down in the dumps, and the reason why we came out was because of our offensive line. In 2021, we're 2-5, and what do? Our coach is the favorite to get fired. He goes on a press conference, he's talking about, the flower. We need to water the flower for it to grow, and you run the ball 3 times, and what do? You rely on the offensive line, you beat the crap out of the Detroit Lions. That's what our offensive line does, and they ended the league after having multiple games with less than 10 total run plays. They used their quarterback's legs, which has not been used, and Miles Sanders and rookie Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott and old Jordan Howard, and they were the number 1 rushing offense in football. I think they had 4 200-yard games in 5 weeks. That's what this offensive line could do. And the next year, they go to the Super Bowl. Why? Because their offensive line, 2023, they still have an amazing offensive line. 2024, they still have an amazing, they have such a good offensive line that there's multiple times that Jalen Hurts is just standing there. Like, he's just standing in the pocket for like 10 seconds. He's doing a little bounce thing because everybody does a little bounce thing. And instead of just being, he's going to act like he can move around. He's not moving around. Everybody is clamps. And then this year, it just sucks. Everything sucks. And the one guy that was playing up to standard was Lane Johnson. And then he got hurt. Would I have wanted him to see him play this game? Yes. I feel like the reason why he didn't play was because, just rest up for Chicago. Don't rest up for Chicago. You had to beat the 49ers first. And you look over them. You looked over this team. That's the truth. And you looked over the team that was 10 points away from being the number 1 seed in the NFC. This wasn't a bad team. This wasn't your normal 6 seed. This was a much better team than the 7 seed that you wanted to lose because you didn't want to play your guys in Week 18. In the team, what was I even talking about? Oh, my God. In the offensive line, it just crumbles the whole year. The offensive line in Steen wasn't a huge amount of the problem. Yeah, everybody looked at Steen because he was the one replacement. Steen's having a better year than Becton is in LA, and I think Steen's actually done a better job than Dickerson, Jurgens, or Mailata this year. I don't think Steen is the issue. I think you're fine with Steen as your right guard next year if you can fix up whatever needs fixing up. And it might be a Stoutland issue. Because after you win the Super Bowl, your left tackle comes in, we're not the defending champs. We're just here we're the 2024 world champions. That's it. This is a new season. We're here to take the others' lunch money again, or whatever he said. And Dickerson and Mailata didn't play good at all. Mailata had, you could see the strength, but at the same time, there were so many missed assignments. And that was the thing with the whole offensive line. There were so many missed assignments. It's not terrible technique. You're not really even getting beat that much because of technique. You have great technique. You have size and strength. Maybe Jurgens doesn't have size and strength, but you have size and strength across that offensive line. It's alignment and assignment. It's stuff that us high schoolers learn in about 3 weeks. And yeah, we only got about 10 run plays, but how many run plays do you think they really got? They got inside zone. They got outside zone. They maybe got a counter that they ran about twice this year. They got one pin pull. Do they really have that many blocking concepts? And yeah, you see different fronts. We see different fronts every week too. Actually, only thing these people run in the NFL is 3-2-2 or 4-2 or possibly 4-3. The first one was the down lineman. The second one was the linebackers. So we see the 3-3 and then the bear front. We saw a bear front one game. We saw a 5-3. We saw a 4-4. We see a 4-2 like normal people. We see a 3 with one of these two guys able to go and 2 and stuff. And we see these two there's more stunts and stuff. And these guys are obviously better athletes. But alignment and assignment. You're in the National Football League. You should know your alignment and assignment. And Dickerson, he's been hurt the whole year, and I thought the rest was finally going to help him, and it didn't. Did he play ridiculously bad? No. Was there a single play I can look at and be like, this is why Dickerson stinks all of a sudden? No, but he didn't play his best football. And then Jurgens. Oh, my God. I never really believed in Cam Jurgens that much. I didn't like that we gave him an extension because, honestly, I just didn't believe in him that much. And people wanted you had a Pro Bowl center, and he somehow made the Pro Bowl again this year. That's the biggest snub for about 9 NFC centers that Cam Jurgens made the Pro Bowl over them. And, the Super Bowl, he missed a block that led to Hurts getting hit in an interception. It wasn't all perfect for Cam Jurgens. A lot of our big runs were inside zones that didn't hit up these A gaps. They hit up the B's and sometimes the C's. It wasn't like Jurgens was this behemoth that I thought Mekhi Becton was, and people thought Mekhi Becton was the weak link because he just kind of came in and started week 1 at right guard. Mekhi Becton was one of the strong. I thought Juergens was the weakest link, and you see him come in this year, and mixed with you being the weakest link on the best offensive line, now the entire offensive line sucks, means you really suck. And we see him hold and just get beat. That's what he does. A few times he'll block his guy, but he's not, and he doesn't have the size and the strength. If you get a real nose guard, he's gonna get driven back. Sometimes the snap is off. You're in the NFL, all right. I get yelled at for the snap being off. That makes sense. You're in the national. You should get cut for the snap being off. And it just hasn't looked good from Juergens all year. And people want to say, oh, Juergens got hurt. Dickerson had a foot injury that he rushed back from because he loves playing football. And he got hurt week 1. And then he got hurt again. And he just kept having to go out. Juergens had a back thing that he was cool with. That he was only limited about the first 3 days of training camp. And then he missed one, maybe 2 games. I think he missed Minnesota. Like, this isn't the same thing. Dickerson has had the same injury that he just has decided to play through. And, like, Juergens, if it's a back and it's 9 months, then it's probably something you should just not play on at all. And he looks bad. And missed alignments, assignments, thinking Steen's here and Steen's here. Oh, just pass him all. Oh, wait, no, there's nobody to pass off to. And my running back is back here getting blown up. And I gotta, as my O-line coach would say, and I gotta talk to his mom and say, dear Mrs. Quarterback, your son just got killed because Cam Juergens didn't want to do his job. Cam Juergens wanted to step the wrong way. It would just it's consistent, and it's the entire offensive line. And if Stellan's the problem, Stellan might be the problem. I remember we lost a guy to New Orleans that Kellen Moore took. Maybe he was the brains behind it. If he was, then you better give him all the money in the world, Jeffrey Lurie. You better give him all that TV money, all that whatever money, all them void years, and give it to that assistant O-line coach because everybody stunk this year. And it's a whole problem for the whole year that really escalated and showed itself off in this game. We got Saquon going, and then we just couldn't get him going in the second. He had no open holes until the last drive of the game. He was getting open the second to last drive of the game when they went up and got 19. He had open holes, and he was using them, and it just hasn't worked all year. And has Saquon lost his step? Possibly. He probably did. I mean, he had 330 carries last year. That's what's going to happen. More than 330. A ton of carries last year. That's what's going to happen. Like, team, it just has been a problem all year. Looking at the bright side. Because there is bright side. There's no way you can't fire the OC tomorrow. I get if you fire the OC and let Nick stay. There's no reason you can fire the OC. Looking at the offseason, I don't think you're going to lose any coaches. I think Fangio being old and staying is something great because nobody wants the old defensive mind in Fangio that already had a failed head coaching stint, if not 2 of them. They want the young, fun defensive mind. So Fangio's not going to get hired, and I think that's why we got to do an OC, because if we hire some young OC and he's good, then we're probably going to win the Super Bowl, 1. Unless if everybody on our team gets hurt. And 2, then he's going to go and coach somewhere else. So there is somewhere to go from here. It's not all over. But I think Patullo has to be the first step. And it has to be tomorrow. And looking at the candidates, I need Mike McDaniel. I need Mike McDaniel so bad. Like, Mike McDaniel is just the exact opposite of Nick Sirianni. And being the exact, it means that they mix. And the thing that makes Mike McDaniel not good will even out, and the thing that makes Sirianni not good will even out, I think it would be beautiful. He's another guy that likes his players. The players like him. It seems maybe he lost the locker room a little bit in Miami, but it seemed like Tua used to love him. It seemed like Tyreek used to love him, and Tyreek is not a easy guy to please, definitely. So yeah, is that it? I think that's it. That's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all more now that I have stuff to talk about in free agency and not just rambling about the same stuff every week and our offensive coordinator. Peace.